We'll reconvene. Please join me in the flag salute and also remain standing for the invocation. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me with a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Okay, revision, adoption, ordering of the agenda. Do we have any suggested changes? Okay, do I have a motion to...
So moved. Second?
What's wrong? Pass it down. Apologize for the technical difficulties we're having right now. Okay. Now, did you have any changes, Carolyn? You're okay. All right. See, was it Ed? Ed was first and second. Okay, David. And please vote. Have you voted? Oh, finally. Yours is not the slowest one anymore. Okay, report out of closed session.
There is no report tonight, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. District update by the superintendent.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome, and hopefully we can keep it cool in here. It's a lot better inside than outside, but again, thank you for attending our governing board meeting. Tonight, we'd like to start off with Marcy Savage talking about community parent outreach, so it's all yours.
In our LCAP, I have a teacher voice. So in our LCAP, we have 4 goals, and the 4th goal is probably one of the most. It really is a wonderful goal. It is to improve community and parent outreach, and we do that here in Paris Union High School District. For those of you who don't know, we have several parent liaisons throughout the district that go out into the community. They work with service organizations. They help the sites develop parent involvement, parent engagement. Because as you know, research dictates that when parents are involved, who's involved? Students, thank you. Okay, so with that, this year we started kind of a new program. It's called Get Pin 2014. And at your sites, you will hear more and more about it. We've just started it. And for those parents who volunteer or give 2014 minutes, okay, mathematicians in the room, how many hours is that? 33. Way to go, Dr. Greenberg.
You guys owe me.
Those parents and community members receive a pin. And from that, we realize we just don't do enough recognition for our parents. Sorry, Jackie, we're just now getting around to realizing that. But so tonight is the first night for every board meeting, we would like to recognize parents from all sites who have the top hours of volunteerism at each of the sites. And it's because it's so new. I think we started it, last Friday or the Friday before. We are not representing or announcing from all sites, just from CMI tonight and Pinacati, and the other sites are in process. So each month, you will get to celebrate those wonderful parents and community members who give so much to our sites in a variety of ways. And with that, I have Diane Martin, as you know, she's the Parent University Queen and coordinator of all kinds of services, and also Grace Farazad from Pinacati, and she is the infamous parent liaison. So from CMI, which we are, which one did you give me? You gave me Pinacati. Okay. Well, I'm going to start with CMI. CMI, we've never, I think this is the first time to have a parent liaison, and you have Teresa Gonzalez, and we hope to see her in future board meetings. But if we could please have Stephanie Valadez join us. Not here tonight, okay. And Annette Paterzo. Either one?
We'll give
Nope.
these two microphones.
Big round of
to them.
applause for CMI. Okay, you want to do those two? Go ahead and do those two. We had a little confusion because it's so new. I apologize that it's taking minutes, but
So
also from Pinacati would like to ask Dolores Lopez to come on up.
Come on up, Dolores. Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
I know we're going to see you for our 100-hour pin pretty soon. And Reina Sanchez also.
And Reina, yes.
Congratulations, Reina. We'll be
These
seeing
are our
you again
first,
too. Thank you very much.
top volunteers in the district, and we really appreciate your service. They will also be receiving volunteers through the year. As you earn like 100 hours, 200 hours, you actually will earn pins. I don't know what you call them, Michael, maybe you can help us. They're the attachment that goes to the original pin.
Rockers?
Rockers?
Rockers,
Is that what you
okay,
call
that
it?
sounds good.
Rockers,
We're gonna-
we got it, so we look forward to that. So please know the invitation is open to everyone here to be a parent volunteer or a community member representative of our sites. We just really value your service. Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
Now, as we all know, about 2 years ago, Measure T was passed, so we can continue doing the construction that needs to be done and improve our facilities in the district. And Candace and her team, as smart as they are, have figured out a way to do something. Yeah, I know, but it's very rare when we can actually tell the property owners that we've got such a deal for you. It's actually going to benefit you. So we'll be bringing this back next month. But Candace, I'm going to let you brief the board and the public about what your plan is.
Not yet. I know. She was just sitting there looking so helpful. Yeah, Anna's taking care of that. And that'll be important later, Anna's name. Could be. So, okay, you can go to the first slide. So as Dr. Greenberg indicated, we have a refunding opportunity that I want to talk with the board about tonight. This was not something that was agendized because as we were looking at interest rates, time is of the essence here, and we have the opportunity to save our taxpayers a little bit more money than if we were to wait for an additional month. Can you go back to the previous slide? So as you know, we as a district financing facilities team, we've talked up here many times before about how we leverage our dollars. We apply for, as many dollars as we can and so forth. But we also look at opportunities to provide savings to our taxpayers when those opportunities present themselves. In 2005, the district issued $33.4 million in bonds under the 2004 election authority, which was Measure Z. Yes, thank you. Might have a helper. Of that, $28.5 million remain outstanding. Certain bonds within that series can be refunded, and certain bonds cannot be refunded. But we've been watching the bonds that can be refunded, which are at a little bit higher interest rate, and the ability to refund those bonds. And due to the market conditions and low interest rates and other factors, now would be an opportune time to do that to save our taxpayers dollars. So we're just here to talk to you a little bit about that we're going to be studying that. Everything in the crystal ball indicates we will be back here in October to ask you to approve that, and I'll go over that at the end. Oh, I have a thing here. I can do it myself. Thank you. You made me self-sufficient. Oh, we didn't put that on presentation mode. That's okay. So the expected refunding bond amount would be about $30 million. Currently, the coupon rate is 4.97%. Preliminarily, we're looking at approximately 2.78%. That's a net savings in today's dollars of $3.3 million for our taxpayers. Traditionally, when you look at refunding, you want that percentage savings to be at least about 3%. when we're looking at these bonds that we would refund, we're at 11.55%. So it's a really, really great time to save our taxpayers some dollars. So that average annual savings would be about $356,000 a year through 2026 that we would pass on to our taxpayers in the form of their tax bills. Oops. Oh, thank you, Sarah. She did it for me. So just real quick, this was not meant to be a long presentation, but we're obviously briefing you on the idea of this tonight. At the October board meeting, you would approve the form of the bond documents, just like you've done before, those really thick official statements. They can cure your insomnia if you want to read them and look at them, and authorize the bond issuance. Now, at that October board meeting, I just want to forewarn you that I will not be at that board meeting, but instead, in case if you have any questions, Scott Smith, our financial advisor, will be here as well as the rest of the PUHSD team. So in late October, we would post those bond offering documents to any prospective investors out in the market. Early November, we would be pricing the bonds. We would lock in the interest rates, hopefully in that 2% range that I mentioned earlier. And then late November, early December, we would close that bond issue. And one thing that is not on here is this would become effective for the district in 2016, as well as for the taxpayers, because that's the first series of bonds that is able to be refunded. So if there are any questions, I can answer. I'd be happy to do so.
Can you, these are windows of opportunity, right?
There are, yes,
so
yes.
what happens if, they close, so it's important that you take advantage of the time, right?
Yeah, and no one has an accurate crystal ball. If they did, they'd be making a lot of money. And so with all of the people that we can gather on our team that look at these things, it is their advice that this is that window. Now, certainly the window could be a year or two long, but if we were to do this, say, in February, interest rates might be at 3%, which there would still be savings, but right now there's more savings. So
but in the past, they've closed or
yes.
at least okay.
Oh, yes. And I know you're familiar with these types of deals. Okay. So it's really a good news message. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace. And again, the reason we bring it up tonight in the public interest is to not surprise everybody at the October board meeting and just do it then, which we could do. And clearly it would not be a violation of the Brown Act, but we would rather at least start the discussion and see if we can save the taxpayers some money. Moving on, I want to talk about robotics. It's the thing that we're talking all about. If you've been to the new, if you get a chance, we're going to eventually have a ribbon cutting, even though we're already in the building, in the new STEM building at Heritage. But I know you can see it at Paloma, and you can see it at Paris High School as well. We have a great robotics program going, and Diane Martin sent an email out and showed us pictures, and I was really proud of the numbers. Over 76 students are signed up and involved in robotics at Heritage. Right now, Paloma is about 30, but going up, and Paris is recruiting. So I want you to know that it's going to be a great year. We'll be hosting a 2-day FTC event at Paris High School, January 10th and 11th, and we'll have over 30 teams and almost 800 spectators. So it's almost becoming like a sport, which is kind of great to almost have that kind of enthusiasm, because we certainly know that kids learn a lot about language arts, math, science, and social studies by being involved in robotics, and it's another way for kids to be involved in their school that aren't involved in other things. So we're really proud of that. I want to report that tonight. Also want to report tonight that at Pinacotty and Paris Lake High School, they've gone digital. Last year, Pinacotty Middle School went 100% digital with their school newspaper. The students use Haiku, our learning management system, to develop, edit, and deliver school news. This year, Paris Lake High School has joined the trend to go digital, and the journalism students are also using Haiku. Their first edition, I think, already came out, so I haven't seen it yet, but the link hasn't been sent to me. You don't have to send me a copy. I just need to know where the link is. But anyway, congratulations, and that message is from the one and only Joe Williams. On September 24th at 4 o'clock, Governing Board, you know this, I want the public to be aware that we're going to dedicate finally those completion of those rooms at Paris High School, those classroom buildings on Ruby. We also there's a lot of work that happened at Paris High School over the summer, and a lot of old classrooms gone, and we're ready to start construction on Phase 2A, right? And what we want to do is actually have a ceremony where we dedicate the new buildings, but also talk about the coming attractions at Paris High School. So we'll hope you'll be there. We'll turn the heat down by that time, and actually, I think Hector's got a plan to actually show you what some of those buildings might look like on that vacant space by doing some drawing on the dirt. But that's just a rumor that I've heard. But some great things going on at Paris High School. Every year, every school district, every school I've ever been in does back-to-school nights. And we saw a large number of parents out. It seemed like a greater amount out this year. You always wonder, though, what do the parents think about it? We don't really ask for feedback. Well, we got feedback from a parent, a Heritage parent, and here's what she wrote, and it's worth reading. Dear Ms. Zierl, I realize that you probably receive a lot of complaints after an event like last night. However, I wanted to let you know instead what a terrific job I thought you did. Last night's back-to-school night was super. The teachers went out of their way to take their time to explain, to greet, to meet, acknowledge, and assist. I was unable to go to both of my son's classes, so I chose to go to my younger son Albert's classes this time. He came with me. We went to see each class together, and without exception, every teacher acknowledged us as we came in the door, took the time to answer any specific questions we had, gave a great brief overview of their class and expectations, and made us feel welcome to contact them at any time should we have questions or concerns. As busy as I know teachers are, we were given the impression that they always would have time for each and every one of us. And some went out of their way. As, for instance, Harmony Ledbetter was explaining to a woman who was new to the school and worked full-time that, yes, her child should have at least 5 homework assignments and apparently hadn't had any. She went on to tell her that there was both before and after school opportunities to make them up and to get to tutoring. The woman then stated that she was not sure how her child could do either of these as he took the bus. Harmony explained that she thought there was a late bus and the child could take, asked the rest of us if we knew if this was still true. When no one knew, she told the woman that she would find out and she would let the woman know. She didn't advise her to go find out for herself. She took on the extra problem and volunteered to do it and let her know. A small thing, perhaps, but huge when you think of how many students and parents she deals with. We've been so impressed in the 2 years we've been attending Heritage at the quality of teachers. We moved here from Palos Verdes, where money is no object and teachers are terrific. We've not seen any lessening in the teaching abilities or commitment here at Heritage. You are obviously hiring great teachers and have a great team. From your office staff, counselors, teachers, etc., we've always felt that everyone at Heritage was willing to help and working hard to make the boys' high school experience positive. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure attending last night. Sincerely, Shannon Rosenfeld. So I thought that was really nice. And again, I'm sure we could get lots of these letters, but it's nice when you get one and you get a chance to share it. Also, I think I told you last month that Candace and I had the opportunity with Tom Ashley and Joe Williams to sit down with Congressman Mark Takano. And he came to talk to us about our initiative, our One-to-One Scholar Plus initiative, and we had a great discussion. And normally you get letters back from congressmen, and you know that their secretary wrote it. They're very busy people. But Congressman Takano penned a little addendum to the letter himself, and he said, I'm impressed with the efforts that have been made in making technology available to all of your students. And that's from Congressman Mark Takano, and that's something worth noting because he's on the Education Committee for the United States House of Representatives, and I think it says a lot. Marcy brought up today we have a pre-meeting among 5 of us, including Tanya. We have a pre-meeting before the board meeting to talk about, what are the things I've missed. And one of the things that was pointed out to me is that our grounds crew in this heat and humidity and the weather they've been in have not stopped doing an incredible job keeping our facilities clean. And so I hope that Art and Rob and everybody here that knows our grounds crew, that make sure that tell them to stay hydrated and that they're doing a great job. And keeping our campuses looking beautiful really makes people want to come to work and kids want to come to school. So thank you very much. Finally, one other item. City of Paris and Paris Union High School District community outreach efforts now include a partnership with the City of Paris. 3 schools, CMI, Paris High School, and Pentecostés Middle School, will become healthier as we join the City of Paris in their Live Well campaign, which has been going on for quite some time. Champions for Change is the motto, working closely to empower Californians to increase fruit and vegetable consumption, physical activity, and food security with the goal of preventing obesity and other diet-related chronic diseases. Health and nutrition workshops for our families will occur at each one of these sites, hosted by a chef and a nutritionist. Students will also engage in planning of healthy lifestyles, choices, and nutritional design of meals. And so we will try to keep you updated and keep the public updated as to our partnership with the City of Paris and what we're doing together. And that will conclude my report tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. ACT committee update.
Tanya, you're ready. You just go. You just go. Tanya, you take it from here. You're ready to go.
Okay. Good evening, board and fellow cabinet members. I wanted the ACT team, I'll remind everybody, that's administrators, classified, and teachers working. No, here's some of my teammates.
Did you think you were going to stand alone?
The power of team. We wanted to come and give you an update this month. We want to try to do that every other month just to let you know where we're at. We met for the first time a few weeks ago. We just started the discussion about planning for our first annual, I think for a lack of the name, we're going to call it our PUHSD Appreciation Evening, which is what we decided we wanted to do last year for the 14-15 school year. That's going to be held sometime in February. More details to follow. We don't want to give everything away until we get everything figured out. I do want to let you know that it's been reported that overall the 14-15 school year started on a much more positive note than years in the past. Reviews on the 2-day Welcome Back event were overwhelmingly positive, which has already been reported from Educational Services. But I do want to say that the ACT team's really proud of the fact that it's something that we all said we wanted, and we brought it to Cabinet, and everybody else helped make it become a reality, and I think it really started us off well. So what I would do, or what I'd like to do, is invite the 3 that were able to make it tonight representing specific school sites. Juno Fernandez is going to talk to us a little bit about CMI. Vicki Mueller is going to talk a little bit about what's going on at Pentecostés, and Jose Rodriguez from Paris High. He wants me to call him something, Joe, and I keep forgetting. So, from Paris High School. And then representatives from Paloma Valley Heritage High School and Paris Lake High School sent me written statements. So I'm going to let these 3 talk, and then I'll follow it up with their written statements. Juno?
Good evening, board members. I'm Juno Fernandez from CMI. I'm the principal secretary there. And my report at CMI is I've seen a noticeable difference in the morale there. We've done more events where teachers are included in the decisions of school activities. We're doing a lot more surveys with them. The admin has become more visible on campus and during our school events, which is something we were asking for, which is really great. Thanks to you, Mr. Rhodes, on that. And finally, we're starting an Employee of the Month program at CMI, which is something we've never really had in the past. So we're in the process of selecting a candidate for October or November just to get it started there. And that's my report for CMI.
Thank you, Juno.
Good evening. At Pentecostés, I think we're a work in progress. All new administrators, so it's we're all starting to get to know each other again and kind of retraining everybody. We did have an Employee of the Month, and we do a birthday cake and everyone comes up. So in that aspect, I think we're getting there. There's some things that, like I said, we're a work in progress. We need to kind of step back and regroup and baby steps starting forward. So we're getting there.
Good evening, Joe Rodriguez from Paris. I started thinking about, so it's a morale committee, but as you know, we call it ACT, which is administrators, certificated, and teachers. And then I started thinking, classified teachers, sorry, and I started thinking we should have called it ACTS with an S, because we forgot students in that. And I say that because recently we've had some positive changes or changes that had a positive increase or effect on the school. For one, we started school with different policy changes. And one was you're now, for the students, are now allowed to have their cell phones out during lunch and nutrition, where before you could not have electronics out. Now, follow the logic here. Seemed kind of crazy, but we gave them one-to-one Chromebooks, and those are electronics. And then we said you couldn't have electronics out. And so that just kind of didn't make, common sense said, something's a little weird with that. So that policy changed, and well, guess what? The students can now have their electronics out during lunch and nutrition and update their Facebook and whatever they want to do. So that made the students cheer, actually spontaneously scream when I told them that in class, and that made the teachers breathe a sigh of relief that they don't have to be the cell phone police any longer, which then lets them dedicate more time to instruction and not having to deal with cell phones during the classroom. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100%, but teachers now have a valid argument to say, hey, this is classroom time now, and you have your time. So let's put that away. And if they need to, they have procedures to handle that. But the decrease with the clerical staff and discipline and the APs and discipline, there's so much less they have to deal with now with these kind of low frequency, there we go, thank you. One of the other changes was our hat policy, which goes back to the students as well. So in the past, you could not wear a hat unless it was a Paris hat or a Paris colored hat, black or green. And one of the arguments that I have heard, and it was from a parent, said, so my student can wear a sweatshirt from a college, say, I don't know, UCLA. But they could not wear a UCLA hat. And they did not see the rationale between that. And frankly, I didn't have an argument to go in. So I just said, you're right. Well, this year, the students can wear their hats. And they could wear hats. And once again, common sense prevails, where if a teacher sees that a hat is inappropriate, then it violates dress code. They make the judgment, and we carry on. So now, again, the students were happy because they got to wear their hats. Sorry for taking up too much time. Sorry. Wait, when they say I could come talk about Paris and the good things, I'm like, how much time do I have? The clerical staff, again, at discipline, were relieved from high amounts of hat violations. And then, it was a win-win because the teachers now didn't have to stop, do the referral, stop from instruction, and now it's just a win-win. The last thing I wanted to talk about that helped boost the morale of the school is we started, for the first time in near history that I can remember, is we had our Employee of the Month. And that Employee of the Month was Chris Dowdy. He is our football coach. And the thing, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, it may not be equal and opposite, but I don't think anybody understands the effect that this one person has had on our school. So he's our new football coach. What he has done for our school is he has managed to have 3 squads now, our freshman, JV, and varsity, to the numbers where we need more uniforms, which is just amazing. So now we have all these kids that are positive, are feeling good about the school. Our attendance is up at the games. The clubs that are there selling their items to support their clubs are making their money, which then supports their little niche in the school. So we have all these things happening from this one gentleman, which he probably didn't even realize he was doing. And so we had our staff meeting, and Mr. Hilton was able to bring him up and say thank you to him and awarded him Employee of the Month. We have our parking space for him now. No one's allowed to park in there anymore because this is the first time we got to launch it. So now it's like off limits, and the teachers obviously applauded in that way that you could tell that it was genuine. because they appreciate it. And so I'll stop there. Kind of all the good stuff. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time to talk about Paris. I appreciate it. And that is the ACT team.
No,
Oh, there's more. Here, more. Hey. We're saving the best for last. Best for last. Yeah, the football team. Well, I don't want to steal my kids' reports. So.
Okay.
But we won.
I think they're pretty proud over there right now.
Yeah, we are.
So let me just finish up very quickly because Joe is very proud of Paris, and I'm glad you are. Julie Brown from Paris Lake High School sent me a note and just said, for the start of the 14-15 school year, all staff have started out the year very positive. Students seem to also be positive and looking forward to graduating. New administration is working very well. It's been a real team environment, and the administration has taken a personal interest in staff and students, and staff and students are enjoying a nice, clean environment. So we got a positive report. Ryan Lundstrom from Paloma Valley High School sent me a note saying, first, and I'll read, this is from him to you. So first off, I apologize for not being able to be present at the board meeting myself. I really wanted to attend and personally thank those who were responsible for creating the ACT team, but I unfortunately had prior commitments. So I decided to write down my thoughts instead. I am excited to see that we have made great accomplishments as a group. I have personally seen great improvements in morale at my site, Paloma Valley. I have come to see many of the morale-boosting ideas that we have come up with as a part of the ACT team at our site, and I know that they are making a difference. Honestly, I would say that the morale at our site has increased exponentially. In my opinion, I think that it is the highest level I've seen it in my 11 years of teaching here. So, thank you for creating our team. P.S. Thank you for hiring the new assistant principals at our school. They are already making a great difference among the teachers, staff, students, and parents. They were all three great choices. And then Heritage High School, Deanna Hamilton shared that Heritage School's year began with a new approach to the registration orientation process. Camp Legacy was a learning experience for all staff and students alike and caused us all to cooperate as a team. The assemblies and class topics that were covered were received well and a huge success. All of the students that I came in contact with enjoyed the 2-day camp and thought it was a great way to start the year. Props definitely need to be given to Mary Mulway, who put together the majority of the camp and did a fantastic job of gathering, organizing, and distributing materials and supplies. The morale on campus seems to be positive and geared toward having a great 14-15 school year. We have hit the ground running and are ready to make it to the finish line with energy and enthusiasm. Thank you. That completes our report. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Just wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, student representatives to the board. Whoops. From the academy, student representatives Giovanni Arana and Clinton Henderson.
Good evening, board members and cabinet. My name is Giovanni Arana. I want to begin by thanking you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. We began our school year with our back-to-school night, August 26, 2014. Board members, cabinet members, and the teaching staff gathered to meet with parents to welcome them to a new year. Thank you for those who attended that evening. Board members, Mr. Bill Holstrom, Joan Cooley, and cabinet members Dr. Greenberg and Marcy Savage. Thank you for the support. Our reading incentive program is in full swing. All students have to do is read 3 books, write 3 essays responding to the literature, and they'll earn a free sweatshirt.
Good evening. My name is Clint Henderson. I too would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I would like to speak with you about the extracurricular activities started this year at the Academy. We have lunchtime clubs on Wednesdays, Friday night live meetings in the library. The goal of the club is to encourage students to live a drug-free life. Students had the opportunity to sign up for 2 workshops that focus on helping teens deal with the stresses in their life. On Thursday, the Bible Club meets during lunchtime. We also have an attendance incentive program every 2 weeks. Students who have the perfect attendance earn a gift card. Students will be recognized for perfect attendance and their improvements in attendance throughout the year. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much. From Heritage High School, Student Representative Anthony Hugersoff. Hopefully I got the name right.
Yes, you did. Good evening, board members and cabinet members. My name is Anthony Hugershoff. I am honored to represent Heritage High School. Sorry, I'm really nervous today. I'm part of Link Crew and ASB, so I really want to start off by saying that we started off our Link Crew orientation on the first day of school, and we did amazing, having all 618 freshmen present and showing us that they were ready. And we had an awesome, great speaker, guest Scott Bakovich. He really inspired all of the freshmen and upperclassmen that college is going to be fun and everything's going to be great. We also had our Camp Legacy, which is our two-day event, which brought campus school culture building. We also had our Club Rush, which we had 43 clubs present. It was an amazing turnout. It was probably one of the best I've ever seen in my 4 years there. We also have a new Patriot Pit, which is new. We've never had them before. And they have also brought a student section to a student section to our football. With that, I also want to say that all of our fall sports are off to a great season so far. Football has 3 wins so far, which is amazing. We had our home opener against JW North, and we had our Legacy March that morning. We had a freshman tailgate that we also linked together with Think Together, a new program that started at our school. And with that, we had a whole bunch of people just come and support our football team. We also had the Back to School Night September 3rd, which I've never seen that many parents before. I've done it junior year. I've also went sophomore year, and with that, I've never seen as many parents and students show up. Our FFA Green Hand ceremony is going to be tomorrow, September 18th. That's where all the freshmen that took the Green Hand test will be awarded upon passing. Our commitment to Student Success Week is next week, which is where we are going to promote a college-going school environment. Our homecoming is going to be on next Saturday, the 27th. Our theme is Wizard of Oz. There's no place like homecoming. With that, we're going to do a Spirit Week next week, which is going to involve Animal Print Day, Twin Day, Class Color Day, and we're also going to have Rainbow Day, which is you just wear rainbows. So with that, I have to say that our school is off to a great start this year. Thank you for letting me come here, and sorry for being so nervous. That's my report for Heritage.
Thank you very much. Trustee Twyman.
From Paloma Valley, Haley, Malloy.
Good evening, members of the school board, President Holton, Superintendent Greenberg, and the cabinet. Hello, my name is Haley Malloy. I'm a junior at Paloma High School. I'm currently a commissioner of Spirit of my ASB school. I'm sorry. I'm here to talk about the recent events at Paloma and the future events that we have planned for the month of September and October. On the first day of school, our ASB hosted a pep rally on the football field to raise school spirit and to excite the students for a brand new year. We had performances from our cheer squad, song team, and band and dance club on our campus called New Era. Then for second week of school, we planned a school spirit week to rise spirit, starting with College Day on Monday, Nerd Day on Tuesday, Hero vs. Villains on Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, and Friday as it is every Friday, Maroon Friday. Another thing we are doing to help our students is adding more information about our school on our website. Information such as the list of all clubs, meeting times, and what those clubs are all about. And that will be also soon on the website. Information about the sports teams and tryout dates also will be posted. Also, Paloma has decided this year to input a new system called Pencos Track on our campus. Pencos is a system that can be used to keep track of points students can earn throughout the year by doing positive things like picking up trash and helping others and dressing up for Spirit Weeks. And other actions help keep Paloma a good school. These points can be saved up to earn prizes, and they are all recorded electronically by simply scanning a student's ID card with a portable scanner that all the campus supervisors are wearing. Another event, we had first home game against the Oregon school called the Clackamas High School. This game also marked the 20th anniversary of Paloma as a school, and we acknowledge staff members that have been here since the opening year. We also have been having our homecoming game on October 10th against Lakeside High School, and the Allison in Wonderland themed homecoming dance is October 11th. Also, our NJROTC has been awarded the unit award for the 2014 and 2015 school year. This list was a summary of beginnings of many future fun, spirited events that are to be planned for the rest of the year. I cannot wait to be a part of these plans for my junior year. I would also like to thank our 20th anniversary staff members, Ms. Simpson, Ms. Bradley, Ms. Myers, and Ms. Peters, and not pictured, Mr. Lynn. Also, we awarded plaques to Dr. Greenberg and Mrs. Raines for the support in getting us a new field, and thank you to the board for our new fields. Thank you for the time, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Cooley.
From Paris High School, Melissa Vasquez and Ashley Jackson.
Good evening, President Holstrom and board members, Superintendent Dr. Greenberg and Cabinet. I am Melissa Vasquez, your school board representative, and this is Yada Tobar. She was nice enough to come and help me out since Ashley is sick, unfortunately. This is my third year standing at this podium. I started way back when I was an 8th grader. I am now 15, a sophomore, and still here. I am here tonight to bring you up to speed about all the exciting things that are going on at Paris High. In August, we had a very smooth registration week that ended with a freshman orientation that was hosted by Link Crew. On the 28th, we had back to school night. Unlike past years that held the event in the gym, parents now had the opportunity to walk out onto the campus and visit their students' classrooms to meet with their teachers. On the 29th, we had our very first football game of the season. We won.
I don't want to yell. I'm not sure. Okay. In September, school spirit started off strong. On the 5th, we had our first pep rally for homecoming. Later that night, we hosted Notre Dame for our homecoming game. We won as well. During the halftime, senior Erica Linares was crowned queen and senior Israel Logan was crowned king. On the 6th, the homecoming dance was held. This year's theme was Hunger Games. On the 12th, Paris won its third straight football game against Pacific High School with a final score of 47-0.
Looking into the near future, we have football games on the 19th, 26th. Please attend as our guest. The first bag of popcorn is on me. Finally, on the 24th, Paris will have a dedication and groundbreaking ceremony to celebrate the completion of Phase 1 and break ground on Phase 2. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Agundes.
From Pinacata Middle School, student reps Omar Elizonda and Monica Orabuena.
Good evening, President Holstrom and members of the board, and Dr. Greenberg and members of the cabinet. I am Student Body President Omar Elizondo, and this is our school treasurer, Monica Orabuena. We are grateful for the opportunity to talk about the events and activities that are happening at Pinacati. The school year started off great. During the first days of school, more than 100 students joined our after-school program called Think Together, or they joined football or both during the week. This is a great start to our after-school program. Special thanks go to our Think Together staff led by Chantel Rapp and football coaches, Coach Jones, Coach Patrick, and Coach Al. During the second week of school, we had our first round of best presentations during our PE classes. Overall, our Pumas were attentive and very enthusiastic during the best shout-out competitions. Special thanks goes to our PE coaches and Miss Jones, Mr. Flores, and Mr. Wise, who will be taking over the presentations this year. Great job, everyone. And now off to Monica.
At the end of August, our students were very excited to see their school administrators getting doused with ice water. Thanks goes to Mr. Flores, Mr. Wise, and Mr. Morgan for stepping up to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and to Patrick and Al for pouring the water so slowly and painfully. We hope that these efforts will contribute increased awareness and money in the fight against ALS. Thank you, Mr. Joe Williams, Mr. Mark Sinnott, and other members of the Technology Department for rolling out our Chromebooks this year. Special thanks goes to our school technician, Justin, for all of his hard work to make the entire Chromebook rollout a success, and to Mark Sinnott for organizing and overseeing the entire operation. Great job, everyone. Now our Pumas have their Chromebooks. Now back to Omar.
The first week of the month, we started our club rush. We had a lot of students sign up for clubs, and that's very good, knowing that the meaning of S and BEST is staying connected and involved. It was a great to have some of our clubs and girls volleyball start up the week. Special thanks goes to Ms. Harris, who had a class full of engineers, including 7 girls joining the robotics club, and also to Coach Meyer, who had more than 70 girls try out for volleyball. We would also like to thank our teachers who are taking on the role of club advisors. Our students are more excited than ever to stay connected and involved. We also had 2 Fridays of lunchtime dance-off rallies. It was a great way to build school spirit and to send our Pumas off for the weekend. Thank you, Ms. Cardos and our ASB class for getting them started. It's wonderful to see how many students feel safe to dance in front of their peers, with many more getting involved than the week before. Now back to Monica.
We had a wonderful back-to-school night. It was one of our largest turnouts in years. During the night, there were full classrooms throughout the campus. We were so happy to see such an abundant amount of students coming out to support their kids, and the kids trying to stay connected and involved. Also, we would like to thank President Holstrom, Dr. Greenberg, Mr. Steve Schwartz, Ms. Tanya Davis, Mr. Graham Bennett, and Mr. Jed Butler for attending. We appreciate your support. We also would like to thank the teachers for their inviting classrooms and enthusiastic presentations. This was a true team effort. Congratulations to our Lady Puma volleyball players. We had an excellent start to our season with our first victory over at Nicollet Middle School. The first game was won with a score of 25-16. The second game was much closer, but we pulled off the win with a score of 25-22. We even played a third game just for fun and won 15-8. Now back to Omar.
In football, the boys won 32-0 on Friday against CMI. Offensively and defensively, the team had an outstanding effort. Good job, Coach Jones and the entire coaching staff. Our next game is at Linfield in Temecula on Thursday. Go Pumas. This is our report. Thank you for listening, and please remember what we Pumas always say at Pinacati. Be our best, every student, every day.
Thank you very much. Trustee Newlison.
From Paris Lake High School, student representatives Jaime Acuna and Angel Castillo.
Good evening, Governing Board and Cabinet members. My name is Jaime Acuna, Paris Lake High School's ASB President. I would like to start off by mentioning what great work Mr. Hauser, Mr. Barbeau, and the staff have done with Paris Lake High School. They have gone above and beyond to ensure that this school improves in every way possible, from gum on the floors, loose ceiling tiles, and dirty windows, to working with students in positive ways to help them focus on their work and keeping our campus clean. I have not attended Paris Lake long enough to notice the difference of the school, but can definitely say it is not how I thought it'd be. Bad. It's not a negative environment. Ms. Reed comes a big part on that. She is a school counselor and does everything from class scheduling to counseling. Last week, on Thursday, we had our first blood drive of the year. We didn't quite reach our goal of 45 donations, but came close with 35. We did have 50 sign-ups, but due to minimum day, extreme heat, and some health restrictions, some were not able to donate. We are very confident that in our March blood drive, we will exceed our goal. Currently on campus, we have an excellent, highly motivated group for our ASB. We are excited to welcome our Bible Club, Senior Club, and newly forming Dance Club.
Good evening. My name is Angel Castillo, and thank you for having me here tonight. We are happy to say that our school has made so many refinements over the summer. Short time, lots of refinements. And since last year, most of the interior walls have been newly painted with the nice welcoming colors of Paris Lake High School. We hope that the rest of the campus will be painted in the near future. Students who use skateboard as transportation, as we all know, most parents or a lot of parents can't, afford the gas or something, and they have made. They cannot use skateboard racks, which are very well appreciated by the students who use them. For PE, we have new and useful equipment that are since being used during the class only. We have a new weight room that our students are able to enjoy indoors. Also, in the efforts of making our school gum-free, we want to thank Art Fritz and Michael Eisenhower for pulling a hot water pressure unit to get rid of the gum and giving the students a fresh, clean, and gum environment. In our computer class, we have new computers. Technicians came and installed the software that was needed, like Photoshop and stuff like that. And also, our school's PBIS team has begun an incentive program that for students who have 85% or better attendance and less than 3 referrals. This program will help to decrease the discipline referrals as well as to increase student attendance. At the same time, Herb Jones has already been out to our school for an ice cream social reward. Those that did not miss nor were tardy a single period one time of the month for the month of August, and she was right there. And we will continue this for each month, just giving them rewards, and so for the students here at Paris Lake High School, are enjoying and feeling comfortable with the school and its improvements. Our level of motivation has positively changed as we're doing our best to meet or exceed our goals. Thank you for having us here again.
That's our report for Paris Lake High School.
Thank you very much. Trustee Cooley.
Good afternoon, President Hallstrom, Dr. Greenberg, and members of the board. I am Cadet Major Lopez, and I'll be representing CMI for today's board meeting. On September 2nd, we concluded our annual Penny Wars, which is a friendly competition that we have amongst the students, where we have an opportunity to put pennies in our jar to try to collect as much money as we can. Our reward was a pizza party. But other classes and other students from the school can come around and drop silver coins in order to bomb us and reduce the money that we have collected for our class. So we concluded that on September 2nd, and we were able to raise over $1,000 for our school. On August 22nd, we had our Welcome Back to School dance, which was completely free for high school, and also the day before that we had one for middle school. And it was a really great turnout, one of the greatest turnouts we've ever had for any of the dances at CMI in previous years. On September 4th, we started our annual Cherry Dale fundraiser, and the students are really motivated to do this as they've been for all the other years. On September 25th, we are having our first ever superhero day, where students have the opportunity to dress in their favorite superhero attire or superhero costumes. And our CMI Art Club, which was just formed this year, is selling shirts to try to raise funds for the club, as well as provide affordable material for the students to wear on that day. The same day will also be our middle school homecoming dance. On September 26th, we have our annual homecoming pep rally, except this year, instead of just it being high school, we have also included the middle school, so it'll be the first ever school-wide homecoming pep rally. That night we will also have our football game, so go Rough Riders. On September 27th will be our high school homecoming dance. This year's theme is flashback to the 50s, where students will have the opportunity to wear their favorite 50s attire. CMI also wants to start a rugby team this year. Today was the first meeting that we had for this rugby, and it's a brand new thing for us, and we want to see how it goes this year. Also, aside from these announcements, I also want to say that our cross-country team has been doing a phenomenal job, and here are just some of the people who placed. Our Juan Perez placed 24th out of 76 runners for varsity with a time of 18:36. Another one of our boys, Edgar Gonzalez, for varsity placed 26th with 19:06. For girls varsity, Cynthia Medina placed 35 out of 55 girls with a time of 26:23. And another one for girls varsity, Esbeth Heredia placed 44th for 29:03. So our varsity team has been doing an outstanding job in our cross country. This is, I believe, the third year that we've had cross country at our school, and we've just been doing an amazing job. So that will conclude my board meeting today. So thank you for having me here. Are there any questions?
No. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Okay, students, this would be a good time if you need to go home and do your homework. But you all are welcome to stay and watch the proceedings. Okay, from CSEA, President Robert Colvin to do report.
Well, good afternoon, President Holstrom, board members, Dr. Greenberg, cabinet members. First off, I would like to, on behalf of all the classified employees, offer our condolences to Dr. Greenberg for his stepfather and for Mr. Gundas for his mother. Our condolences. On tonight's agenda, before you have consideration for two new classified positions, one being a risk management technician, the other one being a library media technician, and we greatly appreciate your support in those two new positions. It's pretty much the beginning of the school year still, so we don't have a whole lot to report on as far as classified goes, but I will tell you that there has been quite a bit of leadership activity within our chapter. One person on our negotiating team representing the clerks was promoted out of classified status and just recently was replaced by Claudia Davis, who's a junior clerk here at the District Administration Center. We have a chapter public relations officer seat vacant now, as that person was likewise promoted out of classified status. And we do appreciate all these people being promoted up within the district. And she has been replaced with Josie Delgadillo from Paloma Valley High School. And we anticipate our chapter secretary to be approved tonight for a confidential position, and have provided for Claudia Davis to also succeed her in that position. And all these changes on these seats are just for the remainder of the current terms, which will be expiring the end of this December. And in December, we will be holding elections for our entire executive board and negotiations team. So you might be seeing some new faces up here soon. And in closing, I have just one question for the board, and that is, on behalf of those of us that work outdoors all day long, is there some way you can exercise some of your executive powers to cool it down? Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And PSCA President Paul Clay.
If I do cough through all of this, please understand I'm just recovering from bronchitis, so I've been kind of loud. I'm going to leave shortly after this, and I'm losing my voice and everything. Thank you again for allowing me to address the board. The PSCA too wishes to offer its condolences to Member Agundes and to Superintendent Greenberg. Before I begin, though, I also want to acknowledge something that Ms. Savage did this week that I don't even think she knows that I was aware of. I was over at A Street and there for a meeting with somebody else, and I happened to see her bring out a pitcher of ice water for 3 of our workers who were tending the fence there. And, I have worked out in the hot sun before, so I know just exactly how appreciated a nice pitcher of cold water is. A pitcher of cold beer might be appreciated, but we can't do it during work hours. But nonetheless, that was very thoughtful, considerate, and just a wonderful thing to do. And I did want to make note of that. With my students, I very often relate a lot of history things to movies for a couple of reasons. One, sometimes the movies get it right, and sometimes they get it wrong, and that's almost equally as important to point out. And so I may show a small few minutes of a clip of a movie or something like that. So when I was talking to a member about the conditions of morale at her site, she actually did the same with me. She related it to a movie. The movie was Bambi, the Disney version, okay? And what that was she talked about the scene where winter has just passed and spring has just started, and the flowers are starting to bloom, and the grass is coming through the snow, and all the little animals are out, frolicking in the sunshine. She said that's the way it feels at her site, that at one time it was more like that winter scene, and that currently it is more like that scene of spring, and that's the kind of feeling that she said she felt. We do obviously look at the questions of morale differently as the association and as the district. And so there are some issues, of course, that I still maintain are a problem in the district. We do see some improvement at sites. And this Project Traffic Light, in case you were wondering who it came from, because I realized after I gave it out to you all that I didn't have my name on it or anything, but I do want to let you know that's from me. This is going to be our way of month by month assessing, and I think that's probably the best word, how each individual site and how the district is stacking up. And this is actually only a page and a half of instructions, but I thought I'd let you know how we were going to decide these things. And I think it's both a handy tool and also a kind of reference guide, because the principals do hear from me, when there's a problem. I've been engaged in many conversations with principals, with other administrators here over the problems that we're facing. And I do want them to be positively reinforced as well. And frankly, up to this time, maybe an occasional remark here at the podium is all that I've really offered. And I think this would be a way of offering a positive remark on the improvements that we have seen. Frankly, if this had been a year ago, I don't think that we would be doing this, because I don't think we were there yet. But right now, given that there is progress noticeable progress, I feel, in morale at 3 of our sites, I think they should be acknowledged as well. Now, this is just started, so the first one of these won't be actually printed until after our next board meeting, which is just before your board meeting. So then I'll share that with you to let you know both the schools that are achieving a green light, which is what we want, and the reasons why those other schools are not. And this will be a more of a graphic reminder and a kind of incentive for all of us, because none of us want these to be in the red or yellow. It's really a benefit if we're all in the green. And for those of you who aren't colorblind, this will be in color, so we will have, actual color on this. I only print in, shades of black in our printer here. We have a very simple printer. That said, there are issues, as I said before. We have engaged in conversations with administrators to try and resolve these. I am hopeful that by the time we come back here, maybe some of those shades will be further down on the traffic light there. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions at all? Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, invitation to address the Board of Trustees. A person wishing to be heard by the board shall be first recognized by the president and then shall proceed to comment as briefly as the subject permits. Individual speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board in each agenda or non-agenda item. And I think that I'll do. Okay, first of all, Gail Simpson, first AP Text, and the second one is CCI PUP. I think you see the CCI. What was that?
Does she get 2 sets of 3 minutes because she has an extra one?
Sure, she gets. Yeah.
You're going to take us 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce our newest Wildcat. This is Bentley, who is an 8-week-old CCI puppy and is the 6th CCI dog that I will have been raising at Paloma High School. And he's already started his little stress reduction duty. One of the girls came in today and said, "I'm having a really horrible day. Could I come back at lunch and just sit with the puppy?" And he sat in her lap and fell asleep. And she said, "This shows me that there are lots more important things in life than what I've been worrying about all day." And so that was very sweet on her part. We have a lot of staff members, superintendents and others who come in and sit down on the floor and just need a puppy hug once in a while, because it doesn't get better than little puppy breath at this point in time. That doesn't last long, but my previous dog, Augie, is still in college. Miss Cooley's hoping to adopt him, but right now he's still in college and is so far doing quite well in his advanced training. Yes, I know, it's so cute. Yes. Anyway, we will stop our 3 minutes for that part. Come on through the belly. Yes. We'll do that. Have to do that later. The other topic, which hopefully I can have 3 minutes for, deals with the issue of AP textbooks. I realize with all of the Chromebooks and the technology rolling out, and with the crazy Common Core testing, you're waiting for textbooks to finally be released from the state. That doesn't apply to AP. AP tests are given each year based on the most current textbooks. This spring, they're writing next year's test based on this year's textbooks. That applies to every subject. However, our AP textbooks, and this applies to the entire district, our AP textbook copyrights are obscene, especially the one that's there at the top. The calculus teacher doesn't even bother to issue the book anymore because it's just so bad and it doesn't even meet the needs of the program. Okay, that's right. Now, many of these books, especially the ones at the earlier books, used to have some technology support. But some of the books, the AP government book, is so old, that's edition 9, and they're on edition 22 now. There's no connection for the kids to get any technology support whatsoever in these programs, much less, test banks and stuff for the kids and the teachers to work with. This has been a really serious problem. My AP Psych is in here, and as a science type class, and AP Biology is right underneath it, we have to be up to date on the materials. We cannot have textbooks that are this old. The ones at the very bottom, they're not too bad, but it's starting to be time for them to be replaced too. And so I'd like all of you to give some serious consideration to what kind of steps and system can you set up for our AP books, our AP classes that are the oldest, and then start transitioning through as quickly as possible. Each school, these are the books that apply for every one of the high schools. And so please don't forget, AP needs more current books, and they can't wait to be on a 7-year cycle or a 15-year cycle or whatever these are. Otherwise, you just need to just say, we're not offering AP this year. We can't afford the books, and it's not fair to tie the kids' hands to take a test on a book that they have that doesn't even come close to what they're being tested on that year, especially in the sciences. It's really a bad prop. I don't know if you needed one for your records or not. Okay?
Thank you, Gail.
No, I have a question. Now, there are we don't need 9,999 books, right? I mean, AP books, doesn't seem that there's...
Well,
yeah, okay.
I was going to say, we'll do an analysis and bring something back to the board.
Yeah, but I have to say that Gail is really correct. I mean, the social sciences and the sciences, including even the psych book, is 1995, not the AP psych. So we have quite a few things to look for adoptions and get that going.
Are those books available digitally? Are we able to
They
have the kids
do.
with the Chromebooks have copies?
What a lot of the publishers have done, it's called, they bundle. And so you have to work with all the vendors out there. Our first step is really to see state adoptions and for teacher teams to come in and really review what is it they want and need, and then negotiate with those publishers and all the vendors on what is the best, and work very closely with technology. Because by the time all of this comes, we need to tier in. We just don't have the millions to go out and buy all of the books. And like Gail said, we need to really look at what are the most serious cases right now and tier in the adoptions for us. Those bundles don't come free. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Cynthia Clark, apology to the board.
Okay, that was a good one. My husband will love that. Okay, I'll just... I'm not taping that. I don't tape myself. Hello. Okay, my name is Cynthia Clark, and I'm on the Citizens Oversight Committee, and I have a few concerns on that. On the district website for Citizens Oversight Committee, Measure T, under Meetings and Agenda and Meeting Minutes, agendas and minutes have been last modified, in quotes, after meeting minutes and agendas were approved. Example, for March 24th, 2014, was last modified on September 5th, 2014. Why would the meeting minutes be modified 5 months after the meeting? And minutes for October 17th, 2013 was last modified April 8th, 2014. I was curious why the meeting minutes and agendas would be modified months later after they have been approved. I would like the staff to give me information concerning how often in a year the Oversight Committee is supposed to have meetings to approve items by law, so we are not out of compliance when there are expenditures and we have not approved anything in this regard since March. And at this time, it appears we are out of compliance legally. I would also like to know why the meetings are not at least taped audio so there is a complete record of these meetings if ever needed in the future. Prior to the next oversight schedule meeting, I am anticipating my first tour of all the sites pertaining to Ed Code 15278-15282. 3, with the bond, this is one of my duties as on the Oversight Committee, inspecting school facilities and grounds to ensure that bond revenue are expanded in compliance with the requirements of paragraph 3 of subdivision B of section 1 of Article 13 of the California Constitution. And I apologize, I won't be able to hand this in, but I'll bring it back tomorrow because I had trouble with my computer. And I just want to make sure that we stay in compliance, and having, 2 meetings in 2-3 years. I know people haven't showed up, but we need to do something. And I have a few ideas because things that have been done in the past, and legally it is okay. So I'll mention that later. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Jackie McDonald, Personnel.
Good evening. Everybody knows how partial I am to Paris High School. Go Paris, yeah. And to Pentecosty. I spent 6 years on both those campuses, so I'm one of those people that you owe pins to. There's no way you can count up the hours that I've given this district for the past 26 years. Good evening to all of you board members, Dr. Greenberg, Mr. Holstrom. I don't usually go through this because it wastes my time, and to everybody in the audience. What I have to say, this district needs to have a personnel hiring committee. Even though you've come a long way in 26 years, there are still allegations of discrimination in your hiring policies. This committee should consist of some community members, not all for Menifee, as well as district employees to make the decisions on who gets hired and who gets promoted. There is too much power in too few hands, and personal biases and prejudices may come into play in some of the recent decisions made. I suggest this board look into this post haste and make the decision to do something about this. There is no need to pay this committee, as we already have too many administrative level positions and consultants on the payroll as it is. Thank you for the time to see. I'm short today. Thank you for the time to speak. And as always, I ask that this entire statement become a permanent part of this meeting minutes. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome. We did used to have committees to hire people. And we didn't get paid. We need to do it again.
Okay. Vicki Mueller, Pentecosty.
Good evening, Board and Cabinet. I'm here tonight on behalf of the teachers at Pentecosty. We're concerned about some comments and some events that have taken place over the last 6 weeks. Notably, some comments that were made to various staff members about finances. We were told, or people were told, not myself, that money's very tight at Pentecosty, and therefore we're not able to buy the materials and supplies that we need for our classrooms. We were told that it was stated that classes were being dropped and combined to the contract maximums because Pentecosty has cost the district money long enough. And that band, advanced band, ASB, Renaissance, were all going to be put at contract maximums, again, because it costs the district money. I'd like to know where this has impacted in the past. Putting 50 kids, 50 middle schoolers in an ASB class, 50 middle schoolers in advanced band, 50 middle schoolers in a class, period, I'm not sure if that's always the best use of money and time. We have every one of the 6 period assignments at our site is an AVID elective. There are 11 sections of AVID, 8 sections of other electives. However, 7th graders only have a choice of band, ASB, and AVID. This is not equitable access. Department heads have requested copies of the master schedule multiple times and class size counts. Today, I got a copy of the master schedule. I still have not received class size counts. Special ed students are being clumped together. There's 18 students in a class of 30 on a reading intervention class. While they do have support, I just think that's bad precedence to put them all in one class if we're looking for inclusion. Department chairs were never consulted prior to balancing classes or seeking solutions to scheduling problems at Pinacati. I'm bringing this to your attention to highlight our concerns, asking that department chairs and teachers be included in the process of balancing classes and master scheduling, or that master scheduling training is provided to all administrators prior to the second semester, and administration be encouraged to communicate in a more timely fashion with department chairs and leadership prior to making changes that affect their classes. Just one other note that it was asked, Pluto was still a planet in our science textbooks at Pinacati. Okay, just so you know that. And synergistic, on the thermostats at our site, I've put in work orders. Several of us have put in work orders. I was told today that they can only set the thermostat to run for 4 hours, that's the maximum. Now, it went from me having to reset it every hour. So my air goes off every single hour. I have to go over, push the air to turn it on. When they came today, he finally fixed it after, 6 weeks of school. He fixed it, but he said he can only have the air go on for 4 hours, that's a rule. And I said, but we're in the class for 7 hours. So your air will automatically shut off after, if you've put in the work order. If you haven't put in the work order, it still shuts off every hour. The lowest that your classroom can get is 74 degrees, regardless of the size. So one part of the room might be 78 degrees, where the thermostat is, might be 74. So that's just some issues that the teachers have asked me to bring to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki.
President Holstrom, I forgot to apologize to the board, if I could real quick, that I didn't,
Enjoy yourself here.
okay. No, that's okay. That I didn't come forward with this information before and didn't notice some of the things, and it won't happen again. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay, consent calendar, approval of consent calendar items. Do I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, David and Joan. Any questions or comments? Okay, please vote. Okay. Introduction promoted or new employees if necessary.
Yes, I would like to first have Candace introduce her new administrative assistant who just been approved by the board.
Well, Anna, if you could stand up. This is Anna Fetzner. As Jonathan mentioned, she is my new administrative assistant replacing Crystal Guyman, who was promoted last month to risk management supervisor. Anna has been in the district since July of 2005, starting first at Pinacati Middle School, then moving to the academy, and then Paloma, most recently working with Steve and Tanya in human resources as a personnel tech. So we welcome you, Anna.
Okay, and I'd like to now introduce Nick Hilton, who'd like to introduce our new assistant principal at Paris High School.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Greenberg, Cabinet. It is my pleasure to introduce Jasper Lucas to you, the latest assistant principal at Paris High School. Jasper is a perfect find for us because she attended UCLA.
Oh, yeah.
Jasper comes to us from New York City, where she's been an assistant principal for the last 2 years? 2 years assistant principal / calculus teacher. And so we are very happy to have her aboard. So with that, Jasper, turn it over to you.
Good evening. Thank you. It was wonderful to hear some of the students and teachers talk about Paris High School tonight. I'm very excited and I look forward for the opportunity to work with Paris High School staff, students, and parents. Thank you.
Oral report, summer session 2014.
So, good evening again. Board and cabinet and some members in the audience, you have a handout as well as it will be on the overhead here on the screen. I just want to take a couple of minutes to really say thank you to everyone in this room for the opportunity to have summer session this past summer, in that we really put a lot of effort and time and technology, et cetera, into making this a very successful summer event. We added, in the past, we've always run credit recovery for those students who had a failing grade. It was an opportunity for them to make that up and move on. What we did this year was we not only continued to offer credit recovery, we also decided we really need to allow students the opportunity to get a head start in many, many ways. So, my clicker, here it is, thanks. This summer we offered what I call multiple pathways for student success. One was the credit recovery, the opportunity to make up some failed classes, and also an acceleration pathway, which consisted of a summer bridge program that Grant Bennett designed for our collaborative districts, commonly known as the feeder district. What I call original acceleration, meaning offerings of A through G courses for students to get a head start. And then Paris High worked in conjunction with UCR. They had a grant, and it was called Summer Up, and that gave an opportunity for students to receive credit in pre-calculus and Algebra 2. So let me just go through here just real quick, because I'd like to just really brag about what our staff made happen. That's not a real correct English sentence, but it's really important, because without the outstanding staff, technology support, and when I talk about staff, it's not just teachers, it was also the classified staff, paraeducators, it was campus supervisors, nutrition services, it was everyone working together, secretaries. We had 3 phenomenal secretaries who worked at Heritage. And most importantly, I have to thank Heritage High School, because we placed all students for summer session at Heritage High. For those of you who didn't know, Paris High could not house anyone due to some electrical concerns. So with that, we said, you know what, Paris High, we'll do it at Heritage, and we can't leave Paloma out there by themselves. So we moved the high school students from Paloma up to Heritage as well. So, and I think it was an extremely well-received event from all students, in the sense that they got along. There were students who said, oh, I had a friend down there at Paloma, and they were at Paris High. So it really helped students work together and study together. We also offered summer session at Pinacati for 8th graders transferring or going on to high school. We offered 2 health classes, and that was great. But let me just go through this real quick. Let me start with credit recovery. Results in, there were 854 classes completed. That's a phenomenal amount. This was a 6-week program. Students came 5.5 hours a day, and I have to say the attendance was pretty good. Staff really did an incredible job in making sure that empty seats were filled, parents were contacted, and the importance of being there was really emphasized. And out of those, the main ones were English 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see, 130 classes in the first session. the first 3 weeks or the first semester of English, and then the second semester was 136 classes. So really helped those students get caught up. History, which included world and U.S. history, government, econ, and geography, you can see the respective classes that were recovered. Summer Bridge Program. This was an integrated math offering for incoming ninth graders. Originally, there were 326 students that were registered, and we actually ended up with 268 students completing the program. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why did so many drop out? They really didn't drop out. You have to remember, 6 weeks is pretty intense in summer. That leaves maybe 1 week of vacation for parents. So it was truly a commitment for these parents and students to be there every single day, because the loss of 1 day equates to 1 week of instruction. So it was this is great efforts on their part. As you can, we outlined the grades given, A, B, C, and pass. Semester 1, pretty significant grades. It's just nice to see how many students got that integrated Math 1, kind of, I hate to say out of the way, but they at least got a step in the right direction. What happened to the other students who didn't make an A, B, or C? We did allow students, same as in the other acceleration class courses, that if you weren't making the grade, you could come every day. You could come every day and receive that preview or be front-loaded. So we did have quite a few students in our other acceleration courses who they just weren't making the grade. And the last thing we wanted to do was to put a D or an F on a transcript when somebody had sat there for 6 weeks. So we decided that just those students who achieved an A, B, or C or passed, it would go on the transcript. But others could still come and be a part of that class, so that the second time around it wouldn't be so difficult. Health, like I was saying, that was housed at Pinacati. Thank you, Pinacati, very, very much. We had 2 classrooms. There were 83 students, and you can see the results from that. So those students got a head start on a semester class, which was just really appreciated. I don't know, Nick, was it appreciated? Yes. Okay. What we call the original acceleration, there were 7 courses offered. 230 total students participated for the entire 6-week period. And here's a breakdown of the grades that were received. And like I said, a lot of students did continue to come who weren't making an A, B, or C or passing, but they still came. And hopefully they're doing well as they're taking that course again. The Summer Up, what we call Summer Up program with the UCR grant, the purpose, as I stated previously, is to assist current high school students to complete the 3-year minimum math A through G requirement. The graduated seniors, it was to really help prepare them for community college, and if they could make it so that they could be placed directly into Math 96, would be a savings as well as an opportunity for them to get ahead. And those were the grades that happened with that. We didn't have a real high attendance on that. I think this coming year we'll have another grant opportunity with UCR, and we'll see those numbers probably triple. So with that, those are the results of our summer session, a very successful time, and I just want to reiterate thanks to everyone who played a part, because there were a lot of hands in this. So thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marcy. Okay, oral reports, accountability progress reporting and update on testing for 2014-15.
Okay, I believe this is a Mr. Charles Tippie matter. So, Mr. Tippie, why don't you, as our coordinator in educational services, responsible for assessment, I'll allow you to take it from there.
Thank you. Okay, written reports, discipline. Okay, action items. Resolution 05-1415, resolution Paris Union High School District supporting Measure AA, Mount San Jacinto College Affordable Education, Job Training, and Campus Repair Measure. Okay. We have Ed making a motion and Joan seconding it. Any comments or questions? Okay, please vote. Okay, action items, curriculum ratification agreement number. Interest SELPA Educational Service, Riverside County Department of Superintendent of Schools. Okay. David and Joan. And questions, comments, please vote. Okay, curriculum resolution for 1415, public hearing and resolution for pupil textbook and instructional materials compliance regarding sufficiency of educational materials for the fiscal year. And we have to have the hearing first, I think, or do we?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start the hearing at 7 o'clock. Do I have anybody who would like to? Thank you. Would anybody like to come up and make comments about this?
This is something we have to do annually, Board.
Okay, so nobody's running up here, so we'll call in meeting ending at 7:01. Now, can I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, please vote. Okay, I think I messed up on it.
Oh, this is, yeah, we're in revolving cash.
Yeah, I messed up. I tried that and okay.
Oh, we can always do that. Old school.
No, okay. Yep, I messed up big time. Give me one more shot here. Dos mas. This is it. Okay. And let's see. That was Ed and Joan. And then call for vote. Does that work?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I clicked the wrong button. Business revolving cash report. That's exciting. Necessary for closed session?
No, sir.
Okay. Next item. Okay, discipline board review, student discipline matters, ratification of agreement of expulsion. Motion, please.
Second.
And Joan, please vote. Okay. Other items by the superintendent?
None.
Okay, good answer. Other items by the board?
I mean, that money that we're being refunded or something, I mean, is there any use for that money other than giving it back?
No.
Okay.
No, there's nothing to the district.
And,
I had asked the same question, Mrs. Twyman. Were we able to free up any money, kind of
Yeah.
like a second trustee, to fill up some money to do some more facilities projects?
Yeah.
Good question.
okay, and I'm sorry, I did have another question. Let's see if I can find it. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No.
We can come back to you in a couple of minutes. Would that work for you? Okay, Ed, do you have anything? Oh, good answer. Joan? Okay. You have what you said. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is there, I know there are no gate funds, but this seems like the perfect time to use money that we have for these AP, what was it? Yeah. Yes, the AP textbooks, how old they are, and how we have to buy new ones. Is there any, I mean, that would be a perfect example.
We'll bring back, we'll work with the teachers, bring back some recommendations. Just remind everybody that we're just coming out of the recession. I know we're going to get some mandated cost money. That's one-time money. That's a good use, one-time money to buy textbooks, but I just want to remind everybody there's not going to be enough to do all that when we also are making sure that we're trying to balance our classes and keep as much money in the general fund as possible. So it's a balancing act. But Mrs. Twyman, we will bring back a report and do what we can because it's absolutely correct that we need to replace our AP textbooks.
Well, not only AP, but all of them.
Right. Well, in the perfect world, as Joe Williams tries to work with all the vendors out there, along with everybody else on this side of the table, we hope that they're going to make that stuff available in the cloud for us so that our kids can get it and our teachers can get it and they can update it electronically. So instead of buying new textbooks, because textbooks are a thing of the past, they're too expensive, they get worn out, yeah. So, but anyway, we will bring a report back, and you're absolutely right, Mrs. Twyman. It's a good use of our money.
We don't have to buy great big large sets, like you said.
Yeah. Okay. I did attend all the open houses and stuff, and I enjoyed going, and I thank all the staff for making my evenings great. So, and one more thing, of course, Dos Mas.
You know what? It almost cleared the room. It almost went out that door.
Okay. Motion for adjournment. And please vote. Okay, let's take about a 10-minute break here.